Hi, I'm Kathy, and this is my friend Mindy and my friend George, and we're going to watch a movie about inclusion in the classroom. This says inclusion means everyone. Everyone? Yes. Even me? Yes. So tell us your name first.
Hi, my name is Doug Rubottom.
And what is your job here at the school?
My job here is an ESE teacher, that's exceptional student education, and I'm also case manager for a specific group of students.
So you have students with various disabilities that you are in charge of teaching?
Yes, I have students that have specific learning disabilities, their behavior disorders, some physical. We don't really have a lot of physical disability students here. There are other schools that have fairly large units. So other health impaired. We don't call it SED anymore. That just kind of comes under behavior disorders. But that's
SED?
Severely emotionally disabled.
Gotcha. Oh, do you have an IEP for each student?
Yes, every student in our department has an IEP, and that has to be reviewed annually. So we hold a team meeting with the ESE teachers and input from the regular ed teachers and with the student and parents.
Okay, thank you. With your students in your classroom, how much of a percentage of the day are they contained in your classroom as opposed to in general education classrooms?
The easy answer is, depending on their disability, we have students with specific learning disabilities that have no ESE classes. They would be in general ed all day long.
Okay.
Others might be in a co-teach situation,
Okay.
where they have the general ed teacher and an ESE teacher both in the room doing all the teaching duties.
So can you explain to me a little bit about inclusion, what it is and how it works?
Inclusion, much like the name suggests, just means to include, and that means that students with disabilities will, insofar as possible, be mixed in with general education students, ones who don't have a disability or one that hasn't been identified.
Right.
And they will receive instruction along with the general ed students.
Now, your students, you mentioned something about employment. I'm guessing you're training them for jobs?
Yes, I have a career prep class, which is a classroom environment, and that also is now included in the IEP. There is a section specifically for transition and what's going to happen during transition, and we write a goal for what they're going to do after leaving high school and what they're going to do as far as employment goes.
Do these students have accommodations in their lessons?
Yes, they have accommodations. All ESE students are allowed to have accommodations, and that simply means that they will have stuff like extra time or preferential seating. Sometimes it may mean that getting skeleton notes or having someone assist them with note-taking if that's a problem. Any number of things can be accommodations.
Stop the movie! Stop the movie! Did he say skeleton notes? Now, of those students functioning at a lower level, do they get high school diplomas?
Yes, they do.
So, special education students seem to all want the same thing. What do you think that is?
I think as far as wanting the same thing, they want to be just like everybody else.
Okay.
And so they want to be included in activities that are involving, non-disabled students as well. Now, back in the early days, back in the 70s, they finally got students with disabilities were allowed to be in school.
Allowed to be in school.
You mean they had to be loud in school?
No, that means that they weren't let in school.
What's that?
Yes, before that, frequently they didn't go to school at all because they had some sort of a disability. And it was not mandatory for them to be in school. So they earned the right to be able to be in school, but they weren't really getting the most out of it because the teachers, first of all, knew very little about what learning disabilities are.
Okay.
And as many of them oftentimes was considered just to be slow.
They were slow? I'm slow.
I know I had difficulties with that myself.
You did?
I'm dyslexic and have a great deal of difficulty with some math processing.
You're dyslexic, and yet you have a degree, you're a teacher, and you do well on tests.
Yes.
You have certifications in several areas.
Yes, I'm certified in all the content areas that I teach.
And yet when you went to school, they didn't have accommodations for you at that time in history.
Not at all.
What do you think the greatest challenge in special ed is today?
One of the greatest challenges lies in the idea of inclusion and working in a general ed environment. Obviously, you're going to give your ESE students accommodations and additional help and give them the personal attention they need while not making it obvious that they're ESE students.
Okay, so in a co-teach situation, is that a challenge?
It certainly can be. Now, technically, the students should not know which is the regular ed teacher and which is the ESE teacher. They should not know which students are ESE. And I think the whole idea of inclusion is so that they do feel included and they do feel normal like everybody else.
Hi, it's me, Mindy, and I'm here at my school with my friend. George, why are you hiding?
Because I'm afraid
Why are you afraid?
that they won't like me.
Why wouldn't they like you?
Because I'm slow.
Oh, it's okay, George. They'll like you.
They will?
Do you remember what this says?
No. Can you help me?
Yes, I remember. It says, inclusion means everyone.
Inclusion means everyone.
That's right. Oh, let's learn more.
Who's that?
It says Rose.
Rose.
Look, Rose is with another girl. That's Rose there.
Rose graduated from high school in 1985. She's an adult now.
She's an adult now?
Yes. Rose has an intellectual disability. She went to public school through high school. She was in general education classroom 40% of the time, and the rest of the time, she learned how to do a job.
She worked?
Yes, she worked. Rose said her biggest challenges were math and reading comprehension.
Oh, math is hard for me, too.
Oh, I love to read. She found out during her junior year that she had dyslexia. The thing that she wanted most when she was in high school was to earn a lot of money and to be rich someday.
Oh, I want to earn a lot of money and be rich someday, too.
Me too.
Who's that?
That's Abby. Abby is a girl with Down syndrome. Abby began school when she was 4 years old.
I'm 4 years old.
She went to Charles Lohman Special Education Center then. They helped her with speech and with physical and occupational therapy. Then she moved to Alaska. Alaska? Brr, it's cold in Alaska. There were too many students with disabilities and not enough aides, and so her mom had to take her out of that school.
Oh, how sad.
And she got homeschooled then until high school. Then she was not in public school general ed classes, so she was not in inclusion anymore. But they taught her the same things that they would have taught her in general ed classes. They just made it easier for her.
Oh, look. Look at the pretty princess in a wheelchair.
Yes, Abby's friends spoiled her at school, and they did everything for her.
Oh, that's nice. I'd like friends like that.
Me too. But her mom didn't think it was a good thing. Abby was in the classroom 60% of the day, and she was in training 40% of the day. Abby's mom said that Abby's greatest challenge was being too cute. That's because she loved to socialize. Her greatest wish was to get together and hang out with friends a lot and have more celebrations and rewards.
Oh, I'd like to hang out with friends a lot, too.
Oh, I don't have friends.
You do, too. You have me.
Yay! She graduated in 2003 at the age of 21. Can you tell which of these children are learning disabled? No.
Me either. They look like they're having fun.
Is that an Easter egg? Yes, they were having an Easter egg hunt. The boy in the foreground is the student with a disability. He's autistic, nonverbal, and developmentally disabled. A nice lady named Sue is a paraeducator for special ed in Long Beach, California. She's been working with autism classes for 20 years, and she told me about this boy.
What was his name?
Well, I'm going to call him Jim, but that's not his real name.
Oh, look, what's that?
That's his shoe on the floor. Jim does not like wearing shoes, and he kicks them off many times a day. A lot of autistic children don't like wearing shoes.
What's he playing with?
Jim is using a device to speak because he cannot talk. He can't? No, he can't. Jim joins general ed students in kindergarten for activities, for field trips, and for story hour. Jim has an IEP, and his team meets regularly. Miss Susan is on his IEP team. Earlier, we saw him in an Easter egg hunt with other boys and girls. Yeah, I remember. Jim and his classmates also visited a farm. His teachers asked him to use his device to tell them what animals he saw on the farm. So he pushed the buttons on his iPad.
Like this?
Yes, and then that's how he told them the animals that he saw. Oh, that sounds like a nice thing.
What's that?
This is somebody trying to study for college. This is an older man. This device helps him see the words in the book better because he's partially blind. Oh, I see. There's the book, and there are the words bigger. Here he is. This man is 92 years old and still going to school.
92? Am I going to have to go to school when I'm 92?
No, you can go to school until you're done with high school. And then if you want to go after that, you can. I like school. Then I met a teacher from England. Her name is Sue, and she teaches elementary school. She told me about a boy who had problems in school. He was autistic, and they tried to do what they call mainstreaming him, but he was better off in his own separate classroom with other kids like himself. It was interesting speaking with a person from another country and comparing how they used inclusion there.
Oh, it is interesting.
Is England in the United States? No, it's far away. Then I interviewed Anne. Anne had a son named Kevin, who is an adult. Oh, another adult, and a boy. Kevin did not have an IEP or a 504 plan.
He didn't?
No, Kevin went most of school without a diagnosis. He wasn't diagnosed until his junior year in high school.
Aw, that's too bad.
He was in the general ed classroom 100% of the time with no accommodations. Kevin had problems in school, and sometimes he failed his classes. Oh, dear. That's right, and he had to make up the classes. In order to graduate, he had to take them more than once.
Oh, that's very ambitious of him.
Kevin's greatest wish was to be like everyone else. Oh, that's like me. I want to be like everyone else, too. He knew there was something different about himself, but he just didn't know what. Kevin finally graduated in 2010.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, the Little Mermaid.
Who's that? That's my friend Gail's cousin, Christine. Christine had cerebral palsy. She was included in general ed for a few years. She went back into special ed classes where they taught her the same things as general ed, except math. She needed special accommodations in math. Teachers gave her easier work with less questions instead of more questions. And her math had to be modified because she doesn't understand some math problems.
I know how she feels.
She graduated in 2011. Inclusion helped her because she can now socialize better. This shows inclusion, general ed students along with ESE students. Can you tell which ones are general ed and which ones are ESE?
No, I think they all look the same.
This also shows inclusion. This is the co-teacher helping students in science class.
Oh, I like science class.
The other teacher in the room also is helping students. These students also show inclusion. They work alongside the kitchen employees, and they eat lunch with the general ed students in the cafeteria during their breaks from work.
Pizza? Oh, I love pizza.
Ooh, turtles love pizza too. Well, that's the end of our slideshow. That was the end of all the interviews that I did. It was interesting to see the various ways that people I know experienced education of students with disabilities. I could see where inclusion was used and when it was not, and why. Thanks for watching it with me.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to sing a song. Would you?
I sure would.
When you see me, will you say hello? When you listen, will you hear? Your turn.
Will you teach me so that I can know? Can I tell you without fear?
Oh, you can tell me. I just want to be like everyone else.
I just want to be like everyone else.
Oh, that is such a pretty song.
Oh, I think so too.
And you sang really well.
Oh, so did you.
Thank you.